Hi, everybody. We're going to just do a quick Pesach Sicha from Likutei Sichos Chelik Aleph. Hare Ani ben Shibim Shana, said Elazar ben Azariah, I am like a 70-year-old man. So it says like a 70-year-old man. So the Gemara says that in truth, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was much younger. He was like 18 years old. There's different opinions how old he actually was. However, 18 rows of white hair grew on his beard that day. A very special day happened to be. You can look in the Gemara about it in the Brachos, Chav Ches, one of my favorite stories in the Gemara. Anyway, so he looked like an elder, and that's why it says like a 70-year-old man, because he wasn't. He was not actually 70 years old. He was 18 or 16, according to different opinions. So based on that, it's not understood what he said. Meaning, what is the full sentence meaning? He said, I'm like a 70-year-old, and I had not yet merited to find the reason or prove why we mention the Exodus in the evenings. Every day we have a biblical obligation to say Shema, which in the Shema we mention the Exodus of Egypt. We say it in the morning. How do we know he said it at night? So he said he didn't figure out the reasoning for it until he heard the exposition of another rabbi whose name was Ben Zoma, who proved it from a certain verse and said, in order that you remember the days that you left Egypt, all the days of your life. Days of your life is the days. All the days of your life includes the nights. But still, it's not understood what his complaint was, because he said I didn't figure it out yet, not because he wasn't wise enough, but really because he was like a 70-year-old and he should have had seemingly a lot of time to figure it out. But really, he only looked like an old man. So what was his point of saying like I didn't figure it out yet? But no. So basically, a mashal, which is an analogy, a parable in the Torah. So in Torah, they're not just stam mashalim. They're not just like mere parables. They're not ordinary parables. Really, it says that they're nishtashal from their nimshal, which basically means that they are descending from a spiritual source, their spiritual truth. And from their spiritual truth, they come into this world and express themselves physically. And this is what he looked like an elder. Is not because it's not just like something that happenstance, but this was because spiritually speaking, in truth, he actually was a 70-year-old, and that spiritual truth expressed itself physically in his beard. That's what it says in the Siddur of the Arizal, that together with the years of his first incarnation, that he actually was 70 years old. I saw elsewhere, I was talking about that Shmuel was his original incarnation, and he passed away at 52 years old, Samuel the prophet, and he was 18, so 52 plus 18 is 70. So therefore, he said, the wonder was that he's not said that I did not yet merit, because spiritually speaking, he was an elder. And he, at that point in his life, should have merited to figure out the halacha. And through that since spiritually speaking, he actually was 70, and because that age was connected with something which is Torah, and Torah dictates and rules over the physicality, as it's known that Hashem looked through the Torah to create the world. It's like the blueprint of the world. So since his spiritual age was connected with something which is Torah, which affects the world, his spiritual old age actually reflected itself and manifested physically. And not only physically, but in the more external aspects of himself, like his hair. So what's the lesson? The lesson is, says Lubavitch Rebbe, is that most of the souls of our generation are not new souls. Rather, they've been here before in previous incarnations. So when something comes up in a person's life, what according to his capabilities of where he is now, it seems to him that it's impossible for him to accomplish something. He feels that there's something he cannot accomplish. Something comes up in his life, he's meant to accomplish something, and he feels he's unable to accomplish. That was his darf irvism. He should know, he must know that it can be revealed the good of a previous incarnation in him, and it can help him in his service, not only in his intellectual comprehension and mind or his emotional life, which is the inner capabilities, but also in his thought, speech, and action in more external things in his day-to-day life. So we have to know, says the Rebbe, that our souls have been here before in previous incarnations, and the good from those previous incarnations can actually empower us and assist us in our challenges in our day-to-day life. So the Rebbe concludes this short Sicha with a question. Two questions, actually. First of all, if the good from a previous incarnation can help us and come to our assistance, what about the bad? It could be that in a previous incarnation there's also a negativity the person might have done in our previous life. And who knows so how is he going to be able to deal with his challenges now if he also has that negativity? So the Rebbe explains quickly that goodness is something which is eternal. And when a Jew does a mitzvah, it's something which is constant, eternal. As it says in Tanya, that this unification above in heaven is eternal and everlasting. But evil doesn't have a real existence. It's only a concealment. Then he mentions that if a person gets a punishment, whether right, or he does tshuva, then that evil is cleared away. And to just conclude the Sicha, the Rebbe asks one last question as an answer to the people who ask, how can it be that in the previous generations that they didn't merit the revelation of Mashiach, and in our generation, which our generation is not like on such a same spiritual levels as previous generations, why are we going to merit the revelation of Mashiach? And this is what the Rebbe answers: in our generation, that we also have all the good from all the previous generations, and therefore that meant itzter dafka. Now, specifically now, we are going to merit to the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days. Good Shabbos and a happy Pesach.